Top, H0-20 secondes. Largage du VKM. Allumage triétage. À tous de DDO. Attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top. Et décollage VS21, oneweb F6. Paramètres normaux. La propulsion est conforme à l'attendu.
And they are off. The first 6 OneWeb satellites have begun their journey, heading out north over the Atlantic towards the Caribbean. Look at that. Those engines on board Soyuz are pushing hard against Earth's gravity. We're burning 5 engines at the moment.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
He's telling us that everything on board's going according to plan. And we've got 5 engines. We've got 1 on the main stage. We've got 4 on each one of those boosters. But it's the boosters that are doing all the work right now. Ah, look at that streak of light heading out across the skies here at the Guyana Space Centre, out over the Atlantic Ocean. The boosters only burn for 2 minutes, but that's long enough for Soyuz to escape the pull of our planet. We're delivering 80% of our thrust right now.
Les paramètres propulsifs sont conformes.
And if we're lucky, we might see them falling away. I think we're going to see them being jettisoned. Look out for 4 dots. There we go. There they go. Look how they twist and turn. That's all part of the plan. Very beautiful sight, actually, to see that with the cameras. And now what we're left with, he's told us that that's been confirmed. You can see that's what it looks like from in space. So they've burnt all their fuel, we don't need them anymore, and we are burning the main core stage, the Block A. And if you take a look...
Bonne stabilisation du lanceur suite à la séparation.
He's telling us that there's good stabilization after the separation there of those boosters. And you take a look at the front of the launcher, that's actually called the fairing, as I mentioned earlier. And he's saying everything's going well. And the satellites are in there, and indeed that fairing has been protecting our satellites. It protects us from the rigors of the launch. A number of things it needs to protect us from, notably the acoustic vibrations at liftoff. It's very loud, I'm sure you can imagine. It's also protecting us from friction, because as we fly through the dense part of the atmosphere, that creates a lot of friction on the outside, and that creates heat, of course. As we get higher up, the air gets thinner, and we have less and less friction. And if you look at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you can see we are 116 kilometers above Earth. So we've gone above what we call the Kármán line. That's the border with space. So effectively we don't really need our fairing anymore, because we hardly have any friction, certainly not enough for it to be a problem, and so we can jettison it. This is the scheduled moment for jettisoning the fairing, and that's what it looks like from cameras on board a previous launcher. And he's confirmed that we have that separation. Now, if you have ever wondered how satellites work, how they get the internet to you, and how it all get connected, then you're in luck, because a man who knows is David Nemeth from OneWeb, and David is with me now. David, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Katie. I'm so happy to be here.
David, you're the Director of Systems Modelling at OneWeb. In a nutshell, what does that mean?
So my team is responsible for doing really detailed models of the satellites flying and connecting to ground stations and connecting to users, and really making sure that we've got the capacity that we want and that we know how to run the system properly.
Very important work. And we're coming up now on the scheduled separation of the next stage. We use a hot stage technique on Soyuz, which means we switch on the engine of the third stage before we separate the second stage, and more cameras there on a previous launch showing us.
Allumage bloc I, extinction bloc A et séparation.
And we have the confirmation there from the range operations manager. So we are now burning the third stage, and that's what it